The internet has changed the world and has opened up many possibilities to earn money. Like this dog being in this video today. Today, I want to focus on a specific type of online business, the content creator or the online influencer. Who would have thought that creating online content for travel, fashion, or food could turn into a full-time business? Content creators usually generate their income from YouTube, advertising income, affiliate marketing, paid promotions where companies pay them to promote their brand or business, or any other income from selling products or services or trainings such as digital training courses, Patreon, or even OnlyFans. Let's be honest here. Although you have thousands or even millions of followers, you probably have no clue on how to do your taxes. That's where I come in, the friendly neighborhood taxman, here to help explain taxes for free. Here's a list of common problems content creators may face. They don't know how to lodge their tax returns and they don't know what to do. They pay the wrong amount of taxes as they don't know what's claimable and what is taxable. Their accountant doesn't understand what they're doing, so they miss out on expenses that are in fact tax deductible. They pay way too much tax for the amount of income they actually make. They cannot get anywhere with the banks, real estate agents, or car dealers as they don't know the right documents to prove their income. Or they think they're going to jail because they have overdue tax returns. If this is you, or will be you, then you should smash the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Because if you don't do this, I will delete this video in 7 days. Nah, just kidding, mate. But please like and subscribe so I can do more videos like this and help the online community. Anyway, let's get started. When declaring income as a content creator, you need to work out first if you're working as a hobby or a business. If you're regularly producing videos or content with the intention of producing income or generating a profit, then it will be hard to say it's a hobby. If it's a hobby, however, you don't need to prepare taxes for the type of income that you're earning. If it's a business, then you must declare the income and expenses from your content creating activities. So what qualifies as a business? Ask yourself the following 4 questions. Is the content creation being undertaken for commercial reasons? Is your main intention to make a profit? Do you regularly create content for YouTube and social media? Is your content creation organized and carried out in a business-like manner? If you answer yes to any of these questions, then it's likely you're trading as a business. If you're still unsure, I've left the link in the bio for a handy little online tool for artists and creatives that will help you find out if you're running a business. Okay, so you've worked out your income stream is considered a business. What do you do next? Generally, the taxable income you've earned minus all eligible tax deductions will be subject to income tax. The tax rate you pay is dependent on your business structure. Generating income in your personal name as a sole trader will mean that you have to pay the marginal income tax rate, which can range from 0% to 45%, depending on your income you earn. You could be taxed at the highest tax bracket if your business is in your personal name and you earn a lot of money. But if your content creation business is structured in a company, your tax rate in Australia will be 26%. You can operate under a sole trader or a company or a trust. However, I believe the best structure is a sole trader or a company. If you're doing content producing as a full-time gig, we'll normally recommend incorporating a company due to the asset protection and tax planning purposes. So here's a quick example showing you why. Say your content producing gig makes you a net profit of over $15,000 a month. So that means you could be earning an income on the highest tax rate of 45%, as your annual income will be $180K. If your business was structured in a company, the tax rate is only 26%. Do you see the tax savings? It's about 19%. 19% of the money that you're making is a massive saving. It's best to reach out to an accountant or a lawyer to get some advice on your business structure, especially when you're starting to make some decent coin. Since you're earning income from creating content as a business, you'll have to apply for an ABN or Australian Business Number. Okay, so what tax do you need to deal with? So we've touched on the first one, income tax. But goods and services tax, or GST, can also impact your taxes. So if you earn over $75,000 in income, then you must register for GST. GST is a tax on any good or services sold in Australia or is connected to Australia. Don't confuse GST with income tax. They are two separate taxes. Income tax deals with the tax that you have to pay on your profits. GST is the tax that you have to pay on the sales income that you earn. You pay this amount to the ATO and normally pay this on a quarterly or annual basis using your business activity statements. When you run a business as a content creator, you will normally have to deal with both of these taxes. GST can be a good thing for content creators. When a content creator is paid by a non-resident like Google who has no physical presence in Australia in relation to the content provided by YouTube, the income made by the content creator is usually GST free. However, your expenses will have GST as they connected to Australia. This means that you'll be able to claim the GST on your expenses, which means you get a GST refund on your business activity statement. If there's no GST on your sales, what does that actually mean? So let me give you an example. Say Alex has a YouTube channel, which makes Google AdSense income of $10,000 a month. He also spent about $2,200 on a new camera to produce content for YouTube. The income he earned is not connected to Australia, so there is no GST on the income. He doesn't have to pay GST to the ATO. He did, however, pay GST on that $200 on that camera he used. So he lodges his BAS and he can claim the GST back of $200. This assumes he uses the camera for 100% business use. We had one client who was preparing his BASes himself and paying GST for many years. After engaging with us, we had a review of his situation and advised him that the income he actually earns was in fact GST free. Therefore, he paid over $8,000 for the last 4 years for no reason whatsoever. Let's just say that he was very disappointed that he didn't see an accountant earlier after that meeting. It's definitely a good idea to speak to an accountant if you believe you're paying too much tax. They could help you from paying taxes you do not need to pay. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, what can you actually claim tax deductions for? Based on the income tax rules, you can claim a tax deduction for any expenses related to the content you create because that's how you generate your income. So, you can only claim the expenses if it's directly related to income producing activity. If you haven't generated any income on the videos, then you may have a problem with claiming those tax deductions. Purchases related to the videos or content is usually tax deductible. For example, if the video is about a product review of a specific makeup product, then the makeup cost and the purchase is tax deductible. Because without the makeup, then there will be no way for you to create a video that will earn you income. Or if you're vlogging and spending money on an Uber to go somewhere specifically for that vlog, then it's tax deductible expense as well. Other expenses that are tax deductible can include your camera gear and software costs. So if you use Adobe Premiere to edit your videos, that expense will be tax deductible. Training and education courses like a makeup course or a content producing course, for example, are also tax deductible. Donation costs to specific charities are tax deductible. Any travel expenses incurred for creating content, so if you're going to Bali specifically to create YouTube content about Bali, then you can claim the business use portion of your flights, meals, and hotel rooms, and etc. Home office expenses for shooting and editing content is also tax deductible. Working from home and a portion of your electricity and rent and heating could also be tax deductible. You may be using contractors, so paying your contractors to edit your videos is tax deductible. Motor vehicle expenses can be deductible as long as you can prove that you needed your car for the business. The business use of your phone expenses, including phone calls, recording videos, using the internet to access social media sites, also tax deductible. By the way, you can only claim the business use portion of the expense you have. Sometimes some expenses have a private or personal use portion, which means you use it for personal use as well, and not just business. You must take out the portion of it and not claim 100% of the total expense. Lastly, another deduction which is quite important is your goddamn accounting fees. Isn't that great? You get to claim amazing tax advice from your accountant that can save you thousands of dollars in taxes, and you also get to claim 100% of that. Sounds like a great bargain to me. We should all speak to an accountant like me. As you can see, there are a lot of tax deductions you can claim for your business. But not all expenses are tax deductible. An example of something that doesn't help you produce that video to generate income is general casual clothing worn while filming. You can only claim a deduction for costs you incur for clothing, costumes, uniforms, and footwear that you wear at work if it's 1. Protective clothing and footwear that protects you from a risk of an illness or an injury posed by your job and the environment you work in. For example, tradies generally need to wear protective shoes or goggles and sunscreen. Number 2, a compulsory uniform that identifies you as an employee of a company that you have to wear at work. An example is a belly dancer that can claim stage makeup, costumes, and dance shoes that are distinctively related to the performer. Entertainment such as fancy dinners, gym memberships, and tickets to shows are normally not tax deductible. The ATO is quite strict on these expenses and disallows these claims, so don't try claiming them. As your friendly neighborhood taxman, there are a few suggestions I want to make for content creators. Firstly, separate the business from personal. Have 2 separate bank accounts. Using your personal bank account for business use gets very confusing at tax time. It will take you twice as long to compile all your expenses, so you have to get in a good habit of having a business bank account for business use only and drawing a monthly wage or drawings to your personal account, and you can use that personal account for personal use. This will make sure you have a clean bookkeeping process and will save you so much time in the long run. Number 2, consider changing your business structure if you're currently operating in your personal name. It is important to work this out so you can protect your assets and possibly save in taxes in the long run. If you're operating through your personal name, you could be paying a high tax rate. 3, set up an accounting system like Xero to manage your income and your expenses. Just get started early as it is important. Once you are earning a good amount of income, it's important to start paying yourself a wage on a monthly basis and pay taxes on your wages. Treat it like a proper business. You'll need to deal with super, you'll need to deal with your own taxes, and you need to deal with payroll. Now also consider superannuation contributions for tax purposes. When you work for yourself, you don't think much about your retirement, and that is not a good thing at all. It's important to put away some money for your nest egg, plus you get a tax deduction for it. Finally, speak to a good accountant so he can advise you or she can advise you what you need to do for your business. It's important to get the right training and advice for accounting and tax for the business so you can do things right from the start. Trust me, it will save you loads of money and loads of time if you get it right at the start. If you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Or if you know a content creator that could benefit from the information in this video, please share it with them. And lastly, you're not gonna go to jail if you haven't lodged your tax return, but you better lodge your tax return soon. See you next time.